Good day again, everyone. Please continue down your refuah shlema for Nissan Ben Tova. Hashem should send him a refuah shlema, sponsored by Gil Yitzhern. Also, Masa this week to Dvor and Roy Spiewek, sponsoring in celebration of their son Eitan's upcoming wedding this Sunday to Eli Loberfeld, to the Beit Nam Israel. And thank also Chaim Food sponsoring this month the Elinish for their beloved son Hillel Alavashom Ben Yo Yaakov She Yichye. Today is also my grandmother's yahrzeit. Let the learning be dedicated to Leah Bat Ephraim, a Kohen Olashom, was a longtime resident of Netanya. So another interesting question asked of Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein that you find in Chashukei Chemed. Why this caught my attention, I can't tell you, but here's the story. There was a yeshiva bachur who was walking on the street one late Shabbat afternoon, and he spotted on the sidewalk $100 bill. And he knew the halacha, and the Rambam says, the Mechaber says that if you find something, a mitzvah on Shabbat, but you can't take it because it's muktzah, then you could keep your foot on it. And what he decided to do is keep his foot on this $100 bill until Shabbat ended. May not be the most productive use of his time, but let's say $100 back then was worth something, unlike today. So he has his foot on the $100 bill, Chapashkia, and an ani approaches him and says, I saw that bill this morning, and I had it in mind that it should be mine. All right? And now I want it. And of course, the Yeshiva Bachar knows the halacha that re'iyah of a mitzvah is nothing. If you see something lost and claim it as your own, there's no indicating sima that it belongs to someone else. Just seeing it doesn't do anything. You have to take possession of it. So in fact, the Yeshiva Bachar, in effect, had taken possession of it by having his foot on it. And so it was his. But he said to the ani, out of the goodness of my heart, b'tar tzedakah, I will give you 100 shekels. Once I cash this $100 bill, I shouldn't say that because that's not what he said. I will give you 100 shekels, and presumably he would have cashed the $100 bill and received a much more favorable rate than you would today. So that's what he did, and the ani agreed and left. After Shabbat, I guess he sees the 3 stars and he immediately picks up the bill and he realizes it's counterfeit. You know, those bills that are perfect replicas of $100 bills. And on the flip side, there's an advertisement for a politician, why a politician would want a counterfeit bill as his means of communicating to the public is questionable, but maybe it's part of his integrity. In any event, they could have an advertisement for something, and now he says it's really nothing. The next morning, the ani comes to him and says, "I would like my 100 shekels that you promised me." And the boy explains to him that the bill was counterfeit, so he didn't get anything out of it, and therefore he's not paying him 100 shekels. And the ani said to him, "Your promise was unconditional. You didn't say that you'll only give me 100 shekels if the bill was real. You said you would give me 100 shekels b'tar tzedakah, and that's what I accepted. And now I want the money from you." Well, our sympathies, of course, well, the liberals will have sympathies for the ani. The halachas will have sympathies for the bachor because, again, it didn't make any sense. He would give him 100 shekels absent the recovery of something more valuable. And yet he didn't make the promise to the ani. So, of course, this then comes back to a question of halacha. Is such a promise enforceable? And the Mechaber says not. This is a din of nidre shigaga, a person who makes a neder, a vow, a promise, but in error. The truth is, anytime a person dedicates something to tzedakah, but is in error, meaning it's based on false pretenses, or he thought something would happen and it did not happen, then he's not obligated, he's patur, he's exempt. That promise is as if it never happened. And therefore, it's the same thing here. The Ramah says in Reish Nun Chet Sif Bet in Yoredeya that if a person vows to give money to tzedakah, but it's an error, he's not obligated to pay the money. And the Ramah has It gives an example. Imratza lomar al sela zeh, v'hoti b'svatav al acher, hevitot ve'eno klum. If he has coins in front of him, a shekel coin, a 5 shekel coin, a 10 shekel coin, and he says, I want to give this coin to tzedakah, and he meant the 5 shekel coin, but instead he pointed to the 10 shekel coin, that's a tad, that's a mistake. Ve'eno klum, it's considered nothing at all. Or if a person says, this is in Reish Lamed Bet in Yordea, if a person says that if you see Jack in Times Square today, I'll give you 1,000 shekels. And the vower knows that Jack is in California, and so he's not going to be there. And it turns out that the guy sees Jack. He didn't take his trip to California. Well, the halacha is patur. He's exempt from paying the heavy neder b'shogeg. It's considered also a vow that took place in error. Well, that of course is a limit to us. There are cases where if a person vows something in his heart, then he has to fulfill it. But if he says it and he means it, you don't have to verbalize it. If you think to yourself, I'm going to give this amount of money to so and so, then you have to follow through. But if he does it in error, even if he verbalizes it in error, it's not necessary. He's exempt from the vow, and he should be more careful when he promises. Ascertain all the facts before he makes any rash statements. And keep looking down today. Who knows what you'll find in the street? Have a good day.